Before we continue, I want you to share this video with anyone you know who may enjoy discussion about Brawlhalla, because I want as many people as possible to see this video and hear what I have to say. There are very few people who have really publicly spoken about this kind of stuff on YouTube. I think the only one was Dopamine. That's the only one that really caught my attention, which I'll link in the description below, but even he didn't describe the things I'm going to mention here. I'll start with some game introductions. Brawlhalla is a free platform fighting game which is accessible on pretty much every platform, but unlike the others, Brawlhalla breaks an unwritten law that every fighting game with a competitive scene has seemed to follow, at least to my knowledge. If there's a game out there that also does the same thing and succeeds with a competitive scene, then please let me know, because I gotta look into that. But Brawlhalla, I think, is the first big fighting game to break the RPS system. It's time tested, and it's essentially a perfect system where there are 3 main mechanics that all counter each other and have almost equal strength and difficulty of performing. For example, in Smash, there's Shield or Rock, which beats Attack or Scissors, which beats Grab or Paper, which beats Shield again, which is Rock. This creates an equilateral triangle where every single option has an equal chance of winning and losing. Well, in the context of fighting games, maybe this triangle is a bit more saline, but the idea is that it should be relatively equilateral. Each option should have the same accessibility as the rest and have just about the same payback. Every notable fighting game that I've seen follows this perfectly and adds their own mechanics around it to make it unique and to add depth. Smash has dodge rolls and teching platforms. Street Fighter has V triggers and EX moves. Rumble Fighter has panic and counters. For Honor has feints and unblockables, along with their famous 3-stance system called the Art of War. If you step back and look at Brawlhalla though, it actually doesn't have a third mechanic. There is dodge, which beats attack, and that's it. Now, Brawlhalla is a very fun game, but this does not necessarily mean it's a well-designed game, even if it, works, technically. And I think Lormen's actually going to make a video about this in the future, about casual versus competitive, something like that in Brawlhalla. So I'll put his video in the description below if and when he makes it. An iframe that you can either use in place or in any of the 8 cardinal directions, and it's lagless, meaning right after you dodge you can just jump away or you can attack. Have you ever played Brawlhalla and you realize for like 8 seconds neither of you are hitting anything? This could be probably like one of 3 reasons. 1, you both can't space correctly, so you're all just whiffing. 2, since dodge is lagless, maybe no one was able to position to punish correctly. Or 3, you fell into a dodge loop. To beat out dodge in Brawlhalla, you have to predict it, or in very rare cases, you can react to like the very, very small frame in which they're dodging. But if you're not on that, like on the dot, if you're not there in the spot you need to be to punish right after they dodge, then you're not going to make it, because dodge is lagless. And when you're actually reading the dodge, it can go in any direction. And of course, like, you can read habits, and some moves can cover multiple options, but dodging just resets neutral way too easily. There's not enough disadvantage state where someone is being pressured after getting hit. This is why there is so much talk about passive play in Brawlhalla. You can escape after getting hit so easily in Brawlhalla, just one button and then you're just out. And it's because of this that it doesn't really incentivize aggressive play, since the reward isn't that great for landing most hits. Usually they just get away. Plus, those players who just run away for like half the game? Well, it's more prevalent in Brawlhalla than other fighting games because of how much mobility you are given in this game compared to the others. You get 3 jumps, a lagless air dodge, and a recovery that doesn't send you into freefall. It's very liberating. I mean, yeah, you can move however you want, but infuriating when people are abusing the fact that it's so hard to punish you for running away just to stay out of reach and land stray hits for 8 minutes straight. It's not fun to play, and it's not fun to watch, which is another big thing. Brawlhalla is just essentially a party/casual game with a competitive scene. And as a side note, I'm not saying passive play is busted. It's just really, really annoying, and I think it's just doesn't go without as much punishment. Like, excessive passive play and stalling does not have as big of a punishment as it should have. So in other words, you shouldn't be able to run away for extended periods of time without harsher punishment. That way, less people would actually do it, because they'll know they'll just get destroyed if they do so. And a lot of times in pro play, you're going to find matches that just become stagnant. When players are just trading hits every couple seconds, they're just playing footsies for a couple minutes, and there's no one really pulls off any sick plays, and when they do, it's quite rare. And I don't think that's healthy for a competitive game, because nobody comes to watch a fighting game just to not see any fighting happen in it. You want to be seeing hype plays, people going for crazy strings, like, you know, the ones you see in Hamo videos. You want to see those more often, but the design of Brawlhalla just doesn't allow this at the highest level of play. It's too risky, and it's too hard to perform. Again, I know these plays do happen. I've seen it all, okay? Like, I've seen Sandstorm destroy people over and over. I watched this game against Isidru, BCX. I remember Boomy versus LDZ. That was also a crazy match. Cake versus Boomy. These are all crazy games, but it's so rare. I don't see this that often, and that's why I still find watching some pro games to be pretty fun, but I also have friends who do not like watching Brawlhalla. Like, they like fighting games a lot, like they play Smash, but they think Brawlhalla is just not as hype. And I have to agree that although I like watching Brawlhalla, I think Smash is a lot more hype in a lot of situations, because you can pull off all these crazy combos and just completely destroy the other player, and this is not like a rare occurrence. You see this quite often, even in the highest level of play.
I like the downward angle guns, but that's just, that just ain't it.
What? Oh, no. Are you kidding? No. No.
And I think this holds true for people who don't even, you know, play fighting games. Imagine you're watching Brawlhalla and you've never played it before. I think if you were watching a pro game, you're going to be asking a couple things. You're going to be like, how are they floating around for so long? Why is, you know, nothing really happening, you know? There's not much visible action for it to be entertaining. And here, like, I'm not playing sides, okay? I'm not saying Smash is completely better, because in my opinion, I actually feel like Brawlhalla is more entertaining to watch than Smash. It's probably because I don't play Smash as much, and I also just think, you know, projectiles and stuff like that, or just camping with some of the characters is kind of annoying in Smash. But yeah, like, I'm not playing sides here. It's just that Brawlhalla, I mean, sometimes it's just nothing really happens, and that's not good. That's not healthy for the competitive scene. And there are other problems that exist in Brawlhalla too, like constant weapon starving and all the weapon throw controversy, but I think nerfing dodge can help combat some of these problems. Like, have you ever played Brawlhalla and you just couldn't find a way in on your opponent? That's because of dodge. It's very subtle. I don't think most players catch on to this, but yes, people are just dodging away, and you can't punish it because it's just that damn hard. Microspacing and perfect gravity cancel punishes, stuff like that, are just so damn difficult. So here's my solution. I've taken into consideration what BMG's vision is probably is when making Brawlhalla, so my proposal doesn't really change the game so much that it feels like a completely different game. What I'm proposing is to add like 4 to 12 frames of end lag to dodge. And for reference, 4 frames is about 0.07 seconds, and 12 frames is about 0.2 seconds long. I think that just 4 to 12 frames of not being able to jump or attack after dodging shouldn't take the game's unique liberation of movement away. It's not like Smash, where if you just air dodge, you kind of just fall and maybe die. It's just a few extra frames where your opponent can react and position to punish, and this will increase the disadvantage state and increase the reward for playing aggressively. Landing a hit will now have a bigger chance of leading to more hits and cool strings, because the difficulty bar of, you know, reading is now lowered, and if you do land a read, you can continue the string, and then if you land another read, you can do crazy plays. And yeah, like, you'll just see more hype plays now, and you will see reads more often, and people can't run away as easily, because if they dodge, they risk getting punished a lot more than before. And now that dodge baiting is more effective, weapon throws aren't going to be the most reliable option anymore. Of course, when you lose your weapon and you go unarmed, the disadvantage state might be a bit too strong, and weapon starving will still be a problem, but that's something else that I may discuss later on. And I don't know, maybe weapon deflecting, which was an experimental a while back, maybe it could come back to testing, who knows. But this is my proposal for now. Maybe add this to experimental test features, because, you know, that's probably what it's for, right? And I would really appreciate it if you all shared this with others and discuss it some more, right? Support my proposal, refine my proposal, bring up some other solution, or just say the game is fine. But we need discussion to make BMG listen and take action. And at this point, I think some change needs to happen now. I think maybe there are some things that I said during this video that may not be as clear as I wanted it to be. If you need any clarification, or maybe you wanted to argue one of my points and I'll just clarify that that's not what I meant, you can just put it in the comments. I'll reply to a bunch of them and continue speaking what I personally think is good for the game at this point. So yeah, continue the discussion, share this video, and yep, thanks for watching.